Senator Risch.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here today. This is a fascinating subject, really, to dig into. I have to tell you, in recent years, as I've sat in this committee, we've had the people come in here and predict to us what was going to happen as far as demand for electricity in America because of AI and the other things that are coming on board, particularly AI. And I have to tell you, I was a doubter at the beginning, but the further we go, the more obvious it's become that we're going to be inundated with demand for electricity here in the next recent years. It's a problem, but the good news is that this particular problem we know how to deal with, and that is we know how to generate electricity. We in Idaho in 1951 demonstrated for the first time that nuclear energy could be used to create electricity, and we've been at it ever since. Of course, we had the setback as a result of 3 Mile Island, but which really put us a generation behind. But now, I think the world knows there's a real renaissance going on as far as nuclear energy is concerned, not only in the United States, but also particularly in the globe, particularly in Eastern Europe, where they're trying to cut the cord with Russia. So I guess I'd like to get your thoughts on this. We're going to flip the switch, hopefully, in the next year or so on the first SMR, which is really going to change the delivery of electricity in the world. And this August, we're going to cut the ribbon on a micro-reactor that they're starting at the INL in Idaho. We're very proud of the work we do in Idaho on nuclear. We really think that we have the solution to all of this. I really think that nuclear is going to have to be and I agree that we want to be all of the above, but I think to deliver the load, I really think it's going to take nuclear to do that. And I'd like to get each of your thoughts on that. Peter, good to see you again, and your thoughts first, please.
I believe that nuclear eventually will be able to fill that base load, but look, I just want to be honest with you. I'm the only one sitting here at this table that pays a power bill of over $250 million a year. That's my gas and electric bill in my company. We can talk all we want about all these renewables and so forth and solar and wind. The fact of the matter is it is failing in Europe where it has been implemented on widespread basis. It is failing. And the prices are going up through the roof. We can't afford it. We're shutting down facilities. We're laying off people. And we talk about these, especially in the state of Texas. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year manufacturing the state of Texas. State of Texas, this entire baseload is natural gas and nuclear and petroleum-based projects. The incremental piece that is renewable is wonderful. Again, I'm not opposed to that. But without the baseload, we couldn't afford to buy electricity in Texas. And the only way we're able to compete today is because of the base that we have of a hydrocarbon base energy source. And that is just the reality of all this. Eventually, somebody's got to pay for all this stuff.
Well, the fact that the utilities now are really kindling a lot of interest in nuclear, does that give you any solace going forward?
Not a great deal. I don't personally. I'm very concerned about where a lot of this stuff is going. When I see how much of this is renewable coming out, for every windmill that is built, again, this is our product, but for every windmill that's built, you've got to build a backup to it because 70% of the time, it's not going to be turning. So you've got to have a backup. It's most of the time it's going to be idle. So therefore, I'm paying for 2 systems. If I've got wind, solar, and backup, I'm paying for 3 systems.
Not a problem with nuclear.
Not a problem with nuclear, no. But again, I think we're probably 10 plus years away from having mass scale nuclear power.
Mr. Tage.
As I think about our fleet across the United States, we're fortunate to be operating data centers in places where part of the grid power we take down is nuclear. We are big proponents of further investment and acceleration of nuclear power, both as a complement to the entire grid, as well as some of the emerging technologies around SMR. I hope you're right. about, in the next couple of years, us seeing the first commercially viable solution for that. But I think nuclear is absolutely a big part of the solution here.
Mr. Greenberg?
Yes, I've not seen a change in public perception about a technology ever as much as we have with nuclear, because so many people motivated by the climate crisis want clean power. And I think everybody who's looking at the grid also realizes we do need firm power. So that is a clean, firm source that could make a great contribution.
Well, take heart. Idaho's here to help you. We got the SMR that we've developed there and moving forward, and we're really excited about the micro that's coming. Those two things are just going to change the world, I think, as they develop them and as they prove them out in the marketplace and as they interest utilities in being able to get what will be a new wave, I think, of how they produce nuclear energy. My time's up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator James Risch, RID, raised concerns about the nation's future electricity needs, pointing to artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies as driving an unprecedented surge in demand. He admitted that he once doubted such projections, but now believes it is clear the country is on the verge of being overwhelmed by energy requirements. Risch argued that while the challenge is significant, the United States already knows how to address it, through nuclear power. He reminded the committee that Idaho demonstrated the first use of nuclear energy to produce electricity back in 1951 and said the state has continued to lead the way. Although the 3 Mile Island accident set nuclear back by a generation, Risch described a global renaissance for the technology, particularly in Eastern Europe where countries are seeking to move away from Russian energy reliance. Idaho, he said, is preparing to play a major role in the next chapter of nuclear innovation. The nation's first small modular reactor is expected to come online within the next year, and this August a ribbon cutting is scheduled for a micro-reactor at the Idaho National Laboratory. He believes both projects will transform how electricity is delivered, offering utilities new ways to meet growing demand. Industry representatives echoed his focus on reliability. One witness noted that his company pays over $250 million a year in energy costs and warned that Europe's push toward widespread renewables has resulted in soaring prices, plant closures, and job losses. He stressed that Texas manufacturing depends on natural gas, nuclear, and petroleum as its foundation, with renewables playing only a minor, supplemental role. According to him, wind and solar require expensive backup systems, effectively forcing customers to pay for multiple layers of infrastructure, while nuclear can provide consistent baseload power without those complications. Another speaker from the data center sector said his company already benefits from nuclear energy in several regions and strongly supports new investment, especially in small modular reactors. He also pointed to a dramatic shift in public perception, noting that concerns over climate change have fueled growing acceptance of nuclear as a clean, firm, and reliable energy source. Risch closed by reaffirming Idaho's commitment to advancing nuclear solutions, expressing confidence that the projects underway in his state will mark the beginning of a new wave in American energy production.